Look, the hard truth is sometimes bad things are going to happen. You could become incapacitated in a car accident through health concerns, some type of violent act. I know it's hard to hear, but it is the truth. If your family relies on you for things such as the house note payment, car note payments, school tuition, daycare, anything like that, and you get into a situation where you're incapacitated and then they can't access the funds that they need, to keep going, the only option they have is to go through a long, costly process called an interdiction in the state of Louisiana. In other states, it may go by another name. But that's typically a long process and a costly process. So you can avoid that by having a power of attorney in place. My name is Ryan Hamilton. I'm an estate planning lawyer in Louisiana. If you need more information on topics such as wills, successions, trusts, and things of that nature, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. What is a power of attorney? A power of attorney is a legal contract where one person, the principal, grants authority for another to act on their behalf, and that person that they grant the authority to is called the agent or agent in fact. Typically, power of attorneys are separated between financial power of attorneys and medical power of attorneys. So with financial power of attorneys, you can grant a general power of attorney, which is a broad spectrum of powers that basically empowers your agent to do all type of acts on your behalf. However, in Louisiana, certain acts like buying and selling real estate, endorsing checks, opening succession and accepting successions need to be expressly stated in the power of attorney. They can't just be included in the powers of a general power of attorney. And then also you can grant a specific use or a limited use power of attorney. So maybe you want to just grant the power to someone so they can negotiate the sale of a house or sign the closing documents for a house. The medical power of attorney needs to be expressly stated as well. So when you give someone a medical power of attorney, you give them the right to make decisions about whether you need surgery, medications, nursing home care, things of that nature. Now, also included with that medical power of attorney is that you should include some type of HIPAA waiver as well, because in order for the person to make a reasoned decision on whether you need surgery or not, the doctor is going to have to share your private health care information known as PHI, which is included in that HIPAA Act. And so there needs to be some type of waiver for that doctor to share that information with the agent so they can make a reasoned decision about surgery, about medications and things like that, as well as life-sustaining procedures, whether you would need to be on a ventilator, whether you want food and nutrition. Power of attorneys are effective when you sign them and continue to be effective until you pass away. Your incapacitation doesn't stop that power of attorney. That is the set rule in Louisiana. If that's not the case, then you would have to specifically state otherwise, that this power of attorney should stop at the point of the principal's incapacitation. However, this is really the exact opposite of most states, where their power of attorneys are automatically stopped at a person's incapacitation. And if you want the power of attorney to continue through incapacitation in other states outside of Louisiana, you need to specifically state that. Your power of attorney could be based upon some type of conditional terms or have springing power. So you can have a power of attorney, even though you execute it today, it doesn't become effective until the principal becomes incapacitated or until a certain term. Maybe it's something on the agent. Maybe when the agent fulfills some specific duty, then the power of attorney comes into effect. So you can sign it now and then have it effective at a later date. When a power of attorney is terminated. Power of attorneys can be terminated at any time by the principal. However, they need to be terminated in the same form or fashion that the third party relied on in giving them. For example, if you filed the power of attorney in the public record, that puts everyone on notice that there's a power of attorney for this agent to act on your behalf. In order to revoke that power of attorney or terminate that power of attorney, you need to file the revocation in the public record as well. However, if your agent only went to a bank and presented the power of attorney, you wouldn't need to file a revocation in the public record. You would just need to put that bank on notice. That power of attorney that agent had is no longer active. I have revoked it. Please do not conduct any business with that agent on my behalf. Also, power of attorneys are also terminated at the death of the principal, and they're terminated either at the incapacitation or the death of the agent. Furthermore, if there's some type of interdiction process of the principal, which is a legal court process that's gone through, where the court will appoint someone to basically be in control of the principal's affairs, then any power of attorney they gave prior to that interdiction would also be not valid. So why is it important to have a power of attorney? And I kind of touched on this at the beginning of the video. I mean, basically, you can look at the power of attorney like an insurance policy for some terrible event that may happen. I mean, it's why you buy health insurance, right? Or why you buy life insurance. You don't think that day you're gonna need it, but you know, it may happen. You may need it. So consider the power of attorney fitting in that same category, because if you are in control of everything, or you are the provider, or your spouse or your family or someone needs you to sign things, or needs you to go to the bank and get money, or needs you to do something, consider you may need to renegotiate terms of a contract in a business, or you may need to talk to the bank about restructuring your house note, different things like that. So if you're the person that has to do that, then your family's gonna, if there's no power of attorney in place, then your family is kind of stuck out. Think about it, if it's registration time at school, and your child's classes will be dropped if a payment isn't made, and then you are basically incapacitated and you can't go to the bank and get the money. Everyone's relying on you to make the payment, but you can't, because you're incapacitated. You don't have the ability to make those payments for whatever reason that your incapacitation came about. So the only process that your family would have is an interdiction, which is a very costly process, and I'll explain why. Because not only do you have to hire one lawyer, your family would have to hire one lawyer to represent them. They also would have to hire another lawyer to represent you, the person they're trying to interdict. On top of that, you would also have to hire medical professionals to come to court to testify that you are in fact incapacitated or unable to take care of your affairs. Possibly this can be done by submitting records. However, this is still a cost. You have to pay for an attorney for both sides. You also have to get medical professionals, and the time it takes to get that done in order to basically handle those affairs that may need to be immediately handled. And interdiction is really not a fast process. So the power of attorney is probably in the neighborhood of $500, and then the interdiction is absolutely over $5,000. It's just kind of like an insurance policy to have. And also, even scaling it back a little bit, not necessarily on, the doomsday you're incapacitated. Maybe you just want somebody to handle something on your behalf. Maybe you're gonna go out of town and you're leaving the country, and you're like, hey man, I'd like to have such and such handle this for me while I'm gone. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. And if you know anyone who can get value from this content, please consider sharing it with them.